There are many cinematic what-ifs. When you think of unmade films, you might think of planned but abandoned projects like Superman Lives or Roger Rabbit 2, The Toon Platoon, or other well-known what-ifs. But to me, one of the most intriguing is the unmade superhero film Grayson, written and starring John Fiorella. Fiorella, an amateur filmmaker and a longtime comic fan, wrote his passion project based on DC characters, hoping to get Warner Brothers to buy the script. The script, by the way, is available online, and you can read it as I did. Anyway, Warner's rejected the script, finding it too elaborate and expensive for the time. This was around 2003, and superhero movies weren't the trend as they are now, and was still seen as something of a risk. Fiorella's script was very ambitious, starting out as a murder mystery and ending up as a DC version of Civil War, with the members of the Justice League battling against each other. Undeterred, Fiorella set out to prove to Warner Bros. That his film could be made on the cheap, without bankrupting the studio. He decided to create a 6-minute trailer for the film, showing what could be done with very little money. With a budget of $18,000, he and some friends put together a very competent film trailer. He used guerrilla filmmaking techniques, since they had no film permits. Fiorella and his associates used various low-budget, cost-cutting methods to make a visually interesting trailer based on scenes from his script. Despite an impressive trailer, Warner Bros. Still refused to bankroll the project. Fiorella tried to show the film at the 2004 San Diego Comic-Con, hoping the publicity would persuade Warner to relent, but they got word of his intentions and put a stop to that. The trailer lounged in obscurity for a few years until it got new life in 2009, when it was put up on YouTube, where it can still be seen today. I've seen the trailer several times, as well as having read the script. It's intriguing to see the work Fiorella put into this, and you realize how much this project must have meant to him. Fiorella plays the title role of Dick Grayson, the former Robin. He does a good job in the trailer scenes. I didn't recognize anyone else from the cast except for Kimberly Page, former WCW Natural Girl and ex-wife of wrestler Diamond Dallas Page. She plays Catwoman, if you're wondering. She looks great in the outfit. Before I go into the details of the script, I just wanted to mention something. The story takes pieces from different versions of Batman lore, combining them into one loose continuity. For instance, some of the characters seem to be designed to look like the Batman 66 cast. On the other hand, the events of the Killing Joke are referenced many times, including Barbara Gordon having been shot by the Joker. There are also scenes adapted from The Dark Knight Returns, where Superman is seen battling some foreign army as an agent of the American military. The script cherry-picks various aspects of Batman mythology, turning this into a Frankenstein of Batman continuity. About the script, some people might hear that Batman has been killed and immediately be turned off by that plot point. Batman can't die. He's Batman, for God's sake. Well, I had the same reaction, but when the resolution to the mystery of his death is finally resolved, I thought it was a good twist that doesn't hurt Batman's reputation as a badass. The killer was a surprise, and all things considered, it was a very in-character way for the legendary Dark Knight to meet his end. So, what's the plot, you ask? Well, let me run it down. It starts with Batman lying dead in an alleyway, a bullet wound in his chest. Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara are present, speaking cryptically. O'Hara seems to be warning Gordon not to say anything about what really happened here. Superman arrives to snatch up Batman's body and fly off with it. He brings the body to the Hall of Justice, where we meet the Justice League: Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Plastic Man. Meanwhile, Commissioner Gordon arrives at the home of his daughter Barbara and her husband, Dick Grayson, who have a daughter named Bethany. Gordon, who knows about their secret lives as superheroes, breaks the news about Batman's death. Grayson goes to police headquarters. When he is refused entry, he forces his way in, but finds that the Justice League are already there. They encourage Grayson to leave. Although Chief O'Hara is promising reporters he will find Batman's killer, Grayson wants to see the body, but Superman prevents him. Grayson is suspicious. We cut to the public funeral of Batman. It seems that Commissioner Gordon used his clout to keep Batman's mask from being removed, so his identity could be preserved. Several heroes are in attendance. Dick Grayson and his wife Barbara are there, in civilian identity, along with a very old Alfred who's in a wheelchair. They spot Selina Kyle, the Catwoman, in the crowd, but she slips away. Gordon, uncharacteristically, breaks down in tears. We find out that Alfred has covered up for Bruce Wayne's absence by telling people he left impulsively to climb a mountain somewhere and will be gone for a year. Alfred intends to find a way to fake Bruce's death in the coming months, covering up his identity. At a memorial service for Batman, Dick Grayson talks to Gordon, who reveals that a green hair was found on the body, indicating that the Joker was responsible. Batman and Gordon had been hunting for the Joker, who had recently escaped Arkham Asylum. We learn that Dick Grayson, when he was Nightwing, had a falling out with Batman. After their fight, he left to follow his own path. He dated Batgirl. When she was shot by the Joker, he quit being a superhero temporarily to nurse her back to health, and then married her. After that, he had a permanent rift with Batman. When Barbara got pregnant, he gave up his superhero career permanently. He hadn't spoken to Bruce in a long time and was now feeling guilty about that. He intends to investigate Batman's death. Grayson later meets with Chief O'Hara, who warns him not to get involved with the investigation. O'Hara reveals that he figured out Batman Robin's identities long ago and threatens to reveal it if Gordon butts into the case. That night, Grayson sneaks into O'Hara's office to get a look at his files, but finds Catwoman already there, stealing the file. After a rooftop chase, Grayson takes a nasty fall, dropping several stories, injuring himself. He dreams of his history with Batman, from his time in the circus until becoming Nightwing. Dick Grayson wakes up in the hospital and learns that he's been in a coma for some considerable time. He finds out that the Joker has been captured by the Justice League and is in jail. Commissioner Gordon has retired and O'Hara is the new commissioner. Barbara insists Dick just let this go. She doesn't want them to get involved with the Joker again. They have a daughter now. Dick Grayson spends the next months in recovery, getting his strength back, while Catwoman observes him for Commissioner O'Hara. O'Hara again warns Grayson to keep away from the investigation. Grayson returns home, and Gordon shows up there one night blind drunk. Robin says he's been drinking a lot since Batman died. Grayson puts on his old Robin suit and goes out on a practice patrol, catching some crooks. He tracks down Catwoman, who apologizes for having hurt him and gives him the file she stole. She admits she was paid to break the Joker out of Arkham that night, but doesn't know who paid her. Dick Grayson studies the file and visits the crime scene. He begins working out very vigorously, like he did when he was Robin. Barbara knows what he's planning and insists he stop, but Grayson feels he just has to do this. Grayson confronts O'Hara about inconsistencies in the crime scene report, but O'Hara continues to insist that the Joker was the killer. Barbara has flashbacks to the Killing Joke shooting when the Joker put a bullet in her. Alfred visits the Graysons to tell them that they will inherit the Wayne fortune, although Barbara is reluctant to accept it. Dick Grayson visits Wayne Manor, where Alfred shows him a videotape made by Bruce in the event of his death. Bruce says he loved Dick Grayson like a son. Grayson visits the Hall of Justice, meeting Green Lantern. Grayson says he knows that the coffin they buried was empty and wants to see Bruce's body. Green Lantern says that Superman cremated it as per Bruce's wishes. Grayson finds Batman's utility belt and takes it with him. The belt has a recording of the night Batman died. At Wayne Manor, Grayson hears the Joker's laugh on the tape and some conversation between Batman and Commissioner Gordon. However, before he can learn more, Superman arrives and melts the utility belt with his heat vision. They argue. Superman tells Grayson that he'd be better off giving up this investigation, but Grayson doesn't trust him anymore. Superman mentions that if Jason Todd had listened to his elders, he might still be alive. Grayson has a flashback to the days when he, as Nightwing, fought alongside Batman and the second Robin, Jason Todd. The falling out between Bruce and him was because of Jason's death. He burned his Nightwing outfit and stopped talking to Bruce after that. He finds a newspaper ad about the circus that seems to be a cipher. He thinks it's code from the Joker. Grayson breaks into Arkham disguised as a janitor and gets help from the Riddler to break the code. The Riddler says someone used a dummy company called Gotham Security to get donations from the Wayne Foundation, which was then used to pay Catwoman to free the Joker. Dick Grayson is then caught and captured by the guards and brought to Commissioner O'Hara. O'Hara has him arrested, but Alfred gets him out on $5 million bail. Grayson returns home to find Barbara packing. She's taking little Bethany and leaving him. She doesn't want their daughter to be part of this crime-fighting life. He can't convince her to stay and watches his family drive away. Gordon comes to convince Dick Grayson to put his family first and reconcile with Barbara. Gordon also warns him that the Joker has escaped again. They fear the Joker may try to get at Gordon through his daughter and granddaughter. Grayson tries to warn Barbara, but she isn't answering her phone. He grabs the old Batcycle and rushes to find her. Meanwhile, the Joker is stalking Barbara and Bethany. Dick Grayson tracks down Barbara, but it's too late. The Joker has kidnapped their daughter. Alfred is able to locate the Joker by computer, revealing that Batman had inserted a tracer inside the Joker, which is how he was able to so easily locate the Joker the night Batman died. When O'Hara puts out an APB to arrest Robin, Robin goes to the Justice League. The League is split on helping Robin. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Flash are against him, while Aquaman, Green Lantern, and Plastic Man are on his side. They argue about whether to help. Robin defeats the Flash to steal the Batmobile from the Hall of Justice and races to save his daughter. There's a chase scene where he evades the police. Robin reaches the Joker's lair in an old amusement park by the ocean. Robin is grabbed by Wonder Woman's magic lasso. She, Superman, and the Flash have shown up to arrest him. Superman says he'll save Bethany, but Robin needs to surrender. Robin doesn't trust him. Just then, the rest of the League, Aquaman, Plastic Man, and Green Lantern arrive, insisting that Robin be allowed to rescue his daughter personally. A big Civil War-style battle breaks out between the JLA members on the beach. During the battle, Robin uses the chaos to get into the Joker's lair. He faces off against the Joker and his Harlequin-like henchwoman. Robin is captured when the Joker uses Bethany as a hostage. The Joker surprisingly denies killing Batman. Robin is dunked into a water tank to drown, but escapes. Joker dangles Bethany from wires, threatening to drop her. Jim Gordon arrives at the lair just as the Joker is about to shoot Robin. Gordon tackles the Joker, wrestling him for the gun, and shouts, "That bullet was meant for you!" Robin finally realizes what happened the night Batman died. A flashback to that night shows us Batman and Gordon confronting the Joker on a rooftop. Gordon is merciless with rage against the Joker because of when the Joker shot his daughter. He intends to stop the Joker's rampage here and now by killing the Joker. Batman gets in the way to try calming Gordon down, but Gordon experiences temporary insanity and fires blindly, hoping to kill the Joker. A close-range bullet injures Batman, who stumbles and falls off the roof, falling to his death. Gordon is shocked, allowing the Joker to escape. Back in the present, Gordon begins crying, begging Robin for forgiveness. The Joker causes Bethany to fall, but she's saved by Gordon, who is fatally injured catching her. Joker is about to kill them all, but is stopped by the arrival of Barbara, who is back at her Batgirl identity. Batgirl pummels the Joker brutally, but is interrupted by the arrival of Chief O'Hara. He reveals his whole plan. O'Hara had long been trying to undermine Gordon and take his place. It was him who hired Catwoman to free the Joker. When Gordon killed Batman, O'Hara finally had the ammunition he needed to force Gordon out. When Superman arrived, O'Hara convinced Superman to salvage Gordon's reputation because Gotham City needs Gordon as a hero now that Batman is gone. Superman agrees to cover up Gordon's involvement in the incident in order to keep order in Gotham City. The Joker kills O'Hara instead, just for fun. He doesn't like being manipulated. Robin and Batgirl subdue the Joker. Superman bursts in, intending to arrest Robin, but is stopped by the presence of his daughter. He won't arrest Robin while little Bethany is there. Superman decides to let Robin go free and arrest the Joker instead. Cut to the funeral of James Gordon. Barbara and Dick Grayson are there and they reconcile, and the family is reunited. In the epilogue, the Justice League are fighting Darkseid in the middle of the city. The Batmobile suddenly races into view, driven by someone in a Batman costume. But it's not Bruce, it's Dick Grayson as the new Batman. He joins the Justice League in battling Darkseid. The end. And that's the end of Grayson. Grayson is an interesting example of a DC version of Civil War, and how a Dick Grayson movie could be done without Batman. It has its flaws and good points. Credit to Fiorella for his determination and his love of the characters. It's a fascinating what-if, and we can only wonder how this movie would have turned out and how it would have been received by the public. Would you have liked to see this film come to completion, or are you glad it never got made? What's your opinion? I'd like to know. So I'll talk at you soon. Same bat time, same bat channel.